our third hour guest arrived so early that we had to put him on television right now. Perfect timing because he is truly greatest head of hair maybe in the history of television, sports television. Steve Mariucci is here nice and early on the Rich Eisen Show.
I feel like I don't belong. Look at all you bald guys.
But Mooch, you're deciding to like go gray gracefully. Like, when did you make that decision?
Bob, it was a COVID decision. Okay,
was it?
Yeah, because let's just face it. Most people in television, they kind of just add color to their hair. I'm just telling you. And then Dan
Patrick calls it a coat of paint.
Coat of paint.
That's what DP calls it, a coat of paint.
I got really tired of that. So
Stop it.
I grew old during COVID, and I love it.
Yeah, you were like Bob Barker. Yeah. Like one day you got it, next day it's just like, whoa, where did that come from?
That's it. All natural.
I like this though. It's great.
You do? Yeah, it's not falling out yet.
I've noticed that.
Your wife likes it? I mean, that's the most important thing, right?
Matters.
I don't know what she likes. Wait, Gail, are you watching this? I love you. Jeez, Rich, I had a weird morning this morning.
Okay.
You know what?
Why?
I was watching Good Morning Football.
Yes.
Did you look at it? There was Kay Adams' last.
It's her last day, yeah, I know.
It was emotional.
I didn't see it. What did she?
Yeah, I was in the hotel over there, and then and I just started turning it on, and I got to watch the last hour. And it was a lot of tears and a lot of goodbyes. And then Nate surprised her and came on the set and did the show with them. And Triggs and Kyle and those guys. It's a great show, you know that. But I'm watching this, and they're saying goodbye, and I love you, and all that. And then I'm thinking, we're going to have a show like that someday.
Oh no.
Rich,
why would you say that?
I don't want to bring this down, but I start thinking, someday we're going to have a show like that. Because the four of us have been together. They've been together for 6 years.
We've been there 10 years together, right?
I know, but I've been with you for 17, Rich.
That's right. I remember interviewing you on Lions Cam
at the league meetings,
and you were then, and also during and
was my hair darker?
No, you were. The difference between you now and as I've known you and you on Lions Cam is
you're gonna talk pounds here.
No, not at all.
You look great.
No, Steve, we're not talking about that. You were what's the word for it? Miserable.
Well,
you do not seem happy at all.
It's a tough job, Rich, over there. We had Matthew Stafford on the set yesterday, and he looked revitalized, right?
He did. You said to him, screw it, we'll just share it. Stafford comes out on the set, and because he started the schedule release show with us.
Oh, great.
And which was great. We've never had that before. We've never had like a defending Super Bowl champion quarterback just start with us. But then again, we also really never had football in Los Angeles, let alone a new beautiful studio across the street from the place where the Super Bowl was played and won, where they have their regular season games anyway. But you said you look great. And he's just like, I got makeup on.
Makeup. I never saw him with makeup.
He said because I had this real, bad sunburn or something. He said I got that sunburn, and I said that's something you probably never said in Detroit very much, did you? Which I'm allowed to say, having spent 4 years in that area. But you didn't. That was the difference. But yes, and I just remember you joining us. It was the Super Bowl in Detroit. That was your first gig with NFL Network. It was the Seahawks and the Steelers Super Bowl, and you were just kicking the tires on that. It was
I was kicking tires already because I got whacked on Thanksgiving after the Thanksgiving game, and then Eric Weinberger calls me up, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, a couple of weeks later, or whatever. Yeah. He goes, "Hey, Mooch, you want to come on the NFL Network with us?" Mm-hmm. I go, interview with Rich again or what? He goes, no, come and work at the Super Bowl.
Right.
I went, it's in Detroit. It's in Ford Field. He goes, yeah, I know. I go, I just got fired from there. You want me to go back in there and start doing shows? And he goes, yep, let's go. And I hadn't left my house in 3 weeks. I think I told you that once already. I mean, when you get fired, sometimes you just go in the tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally didn't leave my house for 3 weeks. And then one day I got out and went to Costco and walked around the aisle. And I started eating those little hot dogs on toothpicks.
Oh,
just
samples.
Just
samples. The samples are best.
But I don't know what's sadder, that or staying in your house like a hermit.
And then people start looking at me like, here's the coach. I got fired. He's eating toothpicks and hot dogs. I had to buy some. So I went and bought some. I bought some like white tube socks. I had to buy something. I couldn't leave the building without buying something.
You mean to excuse your grazing? Like to try and cover your grazing? Tube socks was a fig leaf of you grazing hot dogs on a
socks. Okay, but I had to buy something. Anyway, so then that's where we started in Detroit. Yep, that's where it all started. So maybe 20 years from now, we'll have a goodbye session.
You know what? I hope it's
did.
as long as. Look, I'll say it. Screw it. You know, obviously we're in competition with many groups doing the job, and everybody has a terrific group behind them. We do too. And the compliments I get on our show more than any other is the compliment everybody who does this for a living wants to hear. And the answer is, you guys really look like you're having fun and you like each other.
Yeah.
And my answer is, you're right. We're having fun and we really do like each other. Like, we do spend time with each other and having time with each other. And we've got great memories together. And some of our best memories, Steve, didn't think we were going to go in this direction, but you started us off. I love it. These are some great stories. Brockman, our Thursday night football. Now, I mean, isn't it crazy? We have Al Michaels and we have Kirk Herbstreit on the schedule release show. Thursday night football is now on Amazon Prime Video. Al's calling it with Kirk Herbstreit. But we started the damn thing
in Kansas City.
In 2006 in Kansas City. It was me, you, Marshall, and Dion, and what Dion called the kids' table, right? Because
it was as big as your set right there.
The desk is as big as this desk. And they put four of us right there on the field. That was the night Schefter broke the news that no matter what Jake Plummer was going to do as the quarterback of the Denver Broncos in Kansas City on that Thanksgiving night game, first Thanksgiving night game of a tripleheader on NFL Network, no matter what Jake Plummer did, Jay Cutler was going to get the start. And I'll never forget being in the parking lot in our trailer that they set up there. Pat Bolin comes knocking on the door saying, "Where's Adam Schefter?" Because I'm like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "He just reported my quarterback is not going to start next week." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's right. He did say that." And I realized, oh, God, Schefter scooped Pat Bolin.
Wow.
And I was wondering, how's this going to land? Because our network wouldn't have existed without the late Pat Bolin being supportive of us. But those road trips for us were spectacular. And Dion being there, too, the current coach of Jackson State.
Yep.
What was the deal with your shoes that he did? He gave you? He gave you shoes one year because
when we were all smaller and there wasn't 700 employees over at the net, we used to give each other Christmas presents.
Yeah.
And
Santa Mooch.
And Dion, he got me Gucci's. He said, "I got to get some Gucci's from Mariucci." That's what he said.
Yeah.
And he got me some shoes, Gucci's.
Right.
They're good.
And then I remember complaining about that. And then so many other did. He gave Gucci's to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I still have those.
I have mine.
Look at you guys.
I have mine. I wore them
I remember that.
at the Miami Super Bowl. Remember it rained? I was out in the stands.
Yeah.
They got really wet. Sorry, Dion.
That was the Prince.
I still have them.
That was the Prince halftime show because it rained so damn hard.
Purple Rain.
That night. I remember all of that. Yeah, man, we've been at this a while. So just to put a button on it, look, we love doing it. I love you. I love Irv and Kurt and everyone that we work with. They'd be crazy not to keep us together for a long time. They would. There's no reason not to. The resources are there. The network is there. We love doing it. So hopefully, what you're talking about
won't happen
for a long time. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
How about that?
Let's leave it at that because I was having a moment going, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to Kay Adams, what a run for her.
She's so talented.
And then Nate coming back because when I started NFL Network from scratch, NFL Total Access was the only daily show that we were doing, and then they started building it out. And I'm like, when is there going to be another show that's identifiable to NFL Network that's on the air every day that everybody's going to want to tune in to see? And then Good Morning Football was born.
Was Kenny Norton doing it?
It was me, Ken Norton, and Seth Joyner when we started.
Seth Joyner and Ken.
Yeah. And then one day, Susie calls me up. She says, Pete Carroll wants to come on the show because she was covering USC at the time. She goes, Pete wants to come in. I'm like, oh, okay, great.
Your first coach interview was a college coach?
Well, in studio. I believe so. Pete comes in, and, USC is killing it. 03, 04, 05. I forget what year. I think it was 04, whatever. and Pete wants to come in. And I'm like, okay, great. And so she arranged it because she was covering Pete, and they're still, friendly and tight today. And he comes in, Pete Carroll comes in, and it's me, Pete, and Ken Norton, who was, as you know, Mr. UCLA. But they just hired a new staff, and Ken wanted to coach a little bit. He was doing some youth coaching, and they didn't knock on his door. Pete heard that, and at the end of the interview, said to Ken Norton, "Take a walk with me." And within days, hired him. And as you know, Ken's been on his staff, was on his staff for a very long time. I think Pete
came over to interview Kenny, not necessarily to get on with you. Like he had an agenda.
The interview I think he was more interested in wasn't me interviewing him, but him interviewing Ken.
Yeah,
I think that actually happened.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got tons of these stories.
Oh, I had Ken on my team at San Francisco. He as a linebacker. He was terrific.
Was that when he was punching the goalpost like a fighter, like his dad?
My first year there, I mean, before the game, an NFL locker room is it's really something. Before the game, it's quiet, it's nervous. Some guys are playing music, and all of a sudden I hear two guys yelling at each other, swearing at each other, like fighting with each other. And I'm going, whoa, what is all this? So I walk out. It's Ken Norton Jr. and Gary Plummer, who were our inside linebackers. Then I learned that's how they got up for games, by just abusing each other before.
Get out of here!
Yeah, they were just and then I'm watching this like, this is pretty bizarre, Ken. But whatever floats your boat, okay?
Wow. That's how they got fired up for games?
Yeah, by attacking each other in the locker room.
Is that the strangest such ritual you've ever witnessed as a coach anywhere at any point?
There's a lot of rituals. I saw, of course, Dion, Jerry Rice, too. They used to put their uniform on the...
And imagine what they would look at,
wristbands, everything, make sure
Jerry did that too?
Jerry was meticulous. I think he does that with his suits. I mean, he does everything is perfect for Jerry.
He did that on his... did he do that for every game, Jerry? Well, even on the day that you gave Terrell Owens 20 balls on Jerry Rice?
But you walked right into it.
I did.
You walked right into it.
That was low-hanging fruit for you. Was it?
Walked into it.
What's wrong with you, Rich?
Does Jerry still hold that against you today?
I think depends what kind of mood he's in. Sometimes we laugh about it, and sometimes he's like this.
You know, there's a story I want you to tell so desperately. You're not.
No, I'm not telling any Kevin Barlow stories or anything like that.
No, you've already told that.
You've told that. You've told that here.
Matt will sit right here and tell that story.
Is there the photograph story? Would you tell that story?
Which one?
The photograph, the famous photograph that you wanted to recreate. Would you mind telling that story? You've never told that story before.
What are you talking about?
The famous 49er photograph you wanted to recreate. Remember that? You've never told that story in public.
Is this public?
It is. Let's take a break. I'm going to work on you in the commercial break, and then we'll come back. This is one of my favorite Mooch stories of all time.
Okay.
You have never told this story publicly, and I am honored and thrilled because I think this should be brought to the people.
Yeah.
And I know you're part of you's thinking don't do it, but you got to do it.
I'm doing it.
Okay, great. So. Yeah. At the old NFL Network setup, there were conference rooms, and one conference room after another was named after famous football players. So the NFL GameDay Morning meeting that you were part of all those years when you were Marshall Falk segment producer, Chris Brockman, we met for many years in something called the Montana Room, named after Joe Montana. And in the Montana Room is one of the most iconic football photos that 49er fans would know on sight. And I'll explain it when we put it up on the screen right here for our radio audience. It's Montana and Bill Walsh in the old candlestick taking on the Bears, for crying out loud, right? You can see that on the scoreboard there. And it's Montana looking at Walsh and Walsh looking at Montana. They're both taking a knee on the turf there. And it looks like they're drawing up a play on the turf with their fingers, right?
It's like kids do in the playground, in the backyard, just draw a play up in the dirt.
And so while we're waiting, presumably, memory fades, but we'll just assume we're waiting for Irv to arrive. The meeting is not yet started.
Or Marshall.
So Mooch says the following, got a great story about this photograph that I've never told. And so you know how it works with Mooch.
I mean, of course.
We're all like, okay, you have the floor.
10, 15 minutes.
Steve Mariucci, you have the floor, please. Please.
So
here we go.
That photograph was, it's like you said, it's iconic. It's like, that is so cool. A couple of Hall of Famers down on a knee, just talking the next play. We've all done that when we're 8 years old, right? Well, so now I'm coaching the 49ers.
You're the actual coach of the 49ers.
I'm actually coaching the 49ers. And Joe, I didn't coach Joe. He was gone. Steve Young was there. Pretty good player.
Heard of him.
And and then the photographer was Mike Segaris, and there's a lot of stories about Mike Segaris, man. He used to be the photographer like the Rolling Stones and everything. Anyway, so I just got to thinking, gosh, that would be cool if I could have a photo like this someday, like with Steve Young. And I don't know if I'm going to last 1 month with the Niners or 5 years or where this will end, but that would be a cool photo to have with Steve Young. So I'm not kidding. We're playing a game, and we're winning pretty big. Second quarter, second down. And I'm looking around, and up, boom, there's Mike Segaris. Mike Segaris is right on the sideline. And I went, boom, oh my God, that's probably where he was sitting or kneeling when he took that photo of Bill Walsh and Joe Montana. So I went, timeout.
You called a timeout in an actual NFL game.
Absolutely no reason to call a timeout at all. All right? Steve looks at me and goes, what? Timeout, come here. And he goes, why? I go, come here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
These mics are so big, they can hear me from
yeah.
So here he comes.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, so Segaris is still there. Mm-hmm. This is my moment, man. This is my moment. So here it comes Steve, and he's walking. He's wondering why in the world I'm calling timeout second down and 5. There's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
All right? So as he's approaching, I take a knee. Oh, yeah, I'm going to pose for this picture. I don't give a shit. So I come down, take a knee. And I'm waiting for Steve to come and take a knee right next to me on the field, right? So all of a sudden, our equipment guy, Kevin Lartigue, he goes, Steve, you want some water? And I'm sitting right there, and he took a right. He goes over there, and he's getting water in his helmet with Greg Knapp and all those other guys. And I'm sitting here like this. This is not what I was thinking about right here. Steve Young's supposed to be here with me. He's over there drinking water. And then I go, okay, so I'm going to have to do it some other time here. And they came back up. And here comes Steve, goes, what? I go, nothing. Good job. Let's go back in the game. So I'm sure he's watching this from home.
Oh my!
And now he knows. Wow. Now he knows
the
that
timeout. So Steve Young never knew why you called. Do you remember who you were playing against at this point in time? Do you remember this?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're up big.
It's at home in Candlestick. We're up big. We're up 28-2 or something. Second quarter, and it was wasted timeout, but it was a chance to take that photo. And it was. I was ready. Steve wasn't ready.
I was ready.
He just went up, took a little detour. That's all.
So he has, to this day, no idea why you called that timeout.
Well, he'll know now because I'm sure he'll get blown up on his phone. And Mooch just wanted to take a photo with you, and you screwed it up.
Did you fire the water guy immediately for ruining the photo op?
Jake, why did you give him water, man? I mean, he didn't need water. It's second down. And so it's like, I didn't tell anybody that. That was really embarrassing.
Oh my God.
Not really.
What happened in the game? Like, did that timeout become crucial at some point?
I think it was Atlanta. We kicked their butt.
Right.
I mean, when Steve was playing, we were really good.
It was a Hall of Famer.
It's funny how you're a good coach when you have a good quarterback.
Oh my God.
Weird.
He told that story, and the whole, you can imagine, you've been there with Mooch telling these stories. The whole table was rolling, laughing, just like I was right there. All right. Now the cat's out of the bag.
It is. So I'll get a call from Segaris. He'll go, darn it, I was probably ready for that.
Did he not know it either?
No.
You told nobody what your intentions
Rich.
were.
But I knew he would have taken it. He was sitting right there. They're waiting for photographs all day long, right? And he would have taken it. It would have been exact. Except my hair wasn't white like Bill Walsh's was. It is now, but it wasn't at that time.
That would have been great, man.
Look at that. I was ready
Take
for
a knee,
it.
and
I
Steve's
was
like,
taking
why?
a knee by myself. Who does that?
Take a knee. Why? Coach goes timeout. Why? What are you doing? Oh, take a picture. Oh my God.
I'll tell you, Lee Corso took a picture during a game one time.
Did he?
He was coaching Indiana.
Uh-huh.
They were playing USC, and they scored first. They were 7-0. Mm-hmm. He stopped the game. He took a team photo with the score, Indiana 7, USC nothing.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. Then they got beat like 49-7. But he took the picture. He stopped the game, took a timeout, stopped the game, and took a team photo.
To commemorate that they were up by 7 in the Coliseum?
It was, I don't know where it was.
Well, wherever it was.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It was
my
a perfect
gosh.
picture.
Well, Rod Woodson tells a story. If you're ever around Rod, have him tell the story of his recruiting visits and how he wound up at Purdue. And the story goes, because I asked him at one point, like, you're Mr. Indiana. Why did Indiana not recruit you? And he said he was recruited by Indiana. It was Lee Corso who knocked on his door when he was coaching Indiana. Yeah. And he told Rod, hey, Rod, I've just been fired by Indiana, but Indiana's a great place for you to go to still. And that was the way that Indiana attempted to get Rod Woodson to go and play for the Hoosiers.
Oh, wow.
But it's just like, I appreciate the honesty, Coach, but sounds like things are kind of screwed up around there. See you later. And then he wound up taking one out of Midwest school visit to Arizona State, and because he just wanted to see what it's like to maybe live in Arizona and the heat and the desert and go to like this big, huge college town and whatever. And he doesn't remember who was his recruiting coordinator, but the guy took him off the plane and took him to see the movie Gandhi.
Yeah, he said something about a movie. That was a negative.
Like the total running time is like damn near 4 hours. There was an intermission, and he's just like, he thought he was going to go to campus and just like see a big, vibrant campus and
Rod was with us when we did our first Super Bowl in Detroit.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, Rod was part of that whole thing. Yeah. Look at you going full circle here, Moose. Anything you want to talk about the schedules before I let you go?
No, but it's a good schedule, isn't it? Gosh, that was a fun show yesterday.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We were there 6 hours. I mean, geez.
I know. We taped a lot of stuff that we played back, but it was a long day. But all right. At any rate, it's good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks for being here. So you're going to go see the grandkids now? Is that what you're going to do?
So yeah, I'm gonna go see. I got kids scattered all over, Rich. They're all over.
Right.
I got Adam and Sarah live in Greenwich, Connecticut, right around the corner from Steve Young. Every time I go there, I video myself. Hey, Steve, here's your house. You miss it? I mean, anyway. And
you're gonna have something to talk about with Steve next time you see him.
I know it. He's definitely will have seen this by now, and will be calling.
Remember that one time, Steve, where Mariucci burned a timeout? You had no idea, and then all of a sudden you turn around and he's taking a knee on the candlestick turf telling you to come join him? He wanted to take a picture, Steve. Oh, my God. Fantastic.
Okay. All right.
We're done talking about it now.
All right. I got to go see some grandkids over in Riverside.
To see your grandkids.
Kyle and Colt, yeah.
Okay.
Now share the story about the cell phone, Steve.
The what?
The story about the cell phone.
He already has, and so is Willig himself on this program.
I'm not going to tell that story
That story
anymore.
is not for Steve to tell anymore.
Yeah.
All right, so send my best to Gail and her family.
Yeah, and ask Susie where she got that flag.
Oh, yeah.
Susie, are you watching?
She probably is, but you liked her sweater coat yesterday?
Yeah. Tell me where you got that. If you don't mind me buying one for Gail, you guys can go together to the mall with their flag coat
I think that might actually be purchased on her behalf for you in the next 5 minutes. If she just heard that, she might actually. Well, do you know what she's probably doing? She's probably driving 80 miles an hour and then buying it by using it in her right hand.
With her foot on the
Oh, my God.
Okay.
It's a miracle we commuted together and actually made her.
That's not safe.
Is that your
official
assessment?
Official assessment.
Not safe.
Can confirm. Can confirm. All right, Mooch. Thanks for being here. Steve Mariucci, everybody. All right, we're going to really dive into the schedule, hour 3, and take your phone calls, 844-204-RICH. Oh, we're still here on Peacock for another 2 minutes. All right, so what did leap out at you about the schedule? How about that? How about that first Monday night game? How about Russell Wilson going back to Seattle right off the bat?
I know some people think they should wait until Russell kind of learns that offense and
I'm one of
rhythms
those
up with his.
people.
And some people, on the other hand, it's like get that out of the way so you don't have to talk about it anymore. Just get that game in the books. And but their team on offense, Denver's team, will not be as ready for the opener as they will be later. But hey, I mean, all eyes will be on that game, right? I mean, it's a huge game. How about the Bills and the Rams? I mean, all these games. It seemed like the schedule was every week there were some awesome games. And you know why, Rich? We have a really good situation right now with our quarterbacks in the league. Mm-hmm. It's better than it ever has been. So the matchups between teams often present itself as matchups with quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes and Brady against Rodgers and whatnot. So the league is in such good shape with quarterbacks. There's always going to be these great matchups now.
Yeah, and the fact that 13 teams, so we'll do the math for you, that's almost half the league, has the full maximum of 5 nationally televised games. 13 teams. I think that's a record number where 13 different Patriots have 4 in a row, by the way.
In a row?
Yes. The Patriots let me get that.
You know what else is
It's late
fascinating?
November to early December, right?
Is the schedule release or the making of the schedule.
Yeah, Mike North and Howard Katz and
Mike
the rest
North
of the
and
crew.
Howard Katz and how that got affected when Tom Brady chose to come back, and even after Russell Wilson changed teams, that changes the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Yeah, the Patriots have a Thanksgiving night game against the Vikings in Week 12. Then they turn around and they and the Bills, who play earlier on Thanksgiving again. Normally the Cowboys are the team that turns around and plays another team that played on Thanksgiving the following week. So Thursday Night Football has both teams in a full complement of rest. But that's the way the Bills and Patriots will play each other in New England. And then after that, the Patriots are at the Cardinals on a Monday night, and then they probably will stay out here in the Western time zone and visit Josh McDaniels the following week. That's what 4 straight nationally televised.
The international games are interesting too. You're right. We're going to Munich.
That's great.
With Tom Brady. That'll be fun.
Mooch, thanks for coming
guys.
in. This was a
All right,
blast.
Rich.
Thanks
You
for
bet.
telling that story. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.